Hey there, it's Mike Palumbo. I just want to give a shout out on Veterans Day to all my fellow veterans and to also those still serving, the future veterans of the United States. Thank you all for your service. And I want to also talk about something that really ticks me off, and that's stolen valor. But before we get into it, a word from our sponsor.
Save points, save time, save money. Don't just pay that ticket. Go to attackthatticket.com or call today 877-99-NO-TICKS.
Again, I want to give a shout out to all my fellow shipmates and all of my brethren veterans. Wish them a happy Veterans Day and thank you all for your service, especially you young men and women who are still serving or recently got out. It's very difficult in today's day and age to serve in the military, and it's a different ballgame than when we were in. I get together a lot of my shipmates, children and grandchildren are serving, and whenever that topic comes up, us veterans who really appreciate the service that you young men and women give, it's noticed. But what ticks me off is this stolen valor nonsense, and you hear about it all the time, and it happens, and it people pretend to be veterans to get adulation, to get discounts, and it doesn't really tick me off. I don't get a sense of self-righteous indignation about it. I would have every right to, but I just don't. What ticks me off is that they're taking advantage of the goodwill of the people that they're scamming into believing that they're veterans. Because no one's really going to question it unless you were in a service and they start talking about stuff that is not correct. And I catch it all the time, and I'm not looking for it. I mean, I don't go around like, look, I don't look for this stuff. I got a life. But people are out there. They pretend and to be veterans. Let me tell you something. I was a veteran for 16 years before 9/11. I can tell you, no one really cared that much before 9/11. Everything changed after 9/11. People have a much greater appreciation for the military service and what the military members go through, and it all changed. And people are very appreciative of the service that us veterans gave. And I feel like embarrassed when people tell me thank you for your service, because I don't have to thank you for my service. I volunteered. I understand how they feel. A couple weeks ago, I ran into a guy in a supermarket. He was obviously in his 90s. He was in good shape. He was walking without a walker or cane. He was with his wife, who was also in good shape. They were shopping, and he had a hat on that said U.S. Marine, Iwo Jima survivor. And I turned the corner. I saw this guy, and I just stopped in my tracks, and I'm almost getting emotional thinking about it, because I was like, this guy's like a national treasure. But he's just a regular guy, of course. But he's a national treasure. I'm standing. It was obvious he was, legit based on his age and everything. And I'm like, I felt like I was standing among greatness, And now I know how people feel. Civilians, you might mention in passing, or I might be wearing a USS Starcat or something like that. And like, oh, you in the service? And they're like, thank you for your service. Now, I don't feel like I deserve, the way that people feel about me. But I felt like that. Now I understand, and I stayed, because of the COVID, I didn't get too close to him. I chatted with him, and I told him, hey man, that must have been one hell of a ride. I said, I'm glad you're living a nice, long, and healthy life after that. And I said, thank you. My father was in World War II. He was in the infantry in Europe. Now I have have a better understanding of the way people feel just by running into a random veteran. These valor stealers are taking advantage of the goodwill of other people who are willing to help a veteran, or at least give them some sort of adulation just because they served many years ago. And by the way, stolen valor is not limited to just non-veterans. Okay, I've caught a lot of veterans over the years embellishing their service record, and that really annoys me. I mean, that is like, if you're a veteran, you should be ashamed of yourself for overstating, your service. No shame in the fact I wasn't in combat. I joined. I wasn't in combat. There's no shame in that. It is what it is. I got these little ribbons on this hat. These are the ribbons. These are service ribbons that I got while I was in. There's no silver star here. There's no bronze star here. It's just they're routine ribbons, But it is what it is. I don't care. I met a guy who claimed, and he was way too young to be in World War II. And he's like an army guy, and he's like, oh, I was in the Rangers during World War II, and then I got drafted for Korea as well. They didn't even, first of all, he was way too young, and they didn't even have Rangers in World War II. They were called Scouts. Just like the Navy SEALs started out as frogmen, and then they evolved into what they are today. You meet a World War II or Korea guy that says, they're not going to say I was a Ranger. They're going to say I was a Scout, the predecessors to the Rangers. That's what they're going to say. And I'm not even an Army guy, and I knew that. And he was just way too young. I told the guy, listen, why? Stop lying. Just stop lying before I embarrass you. So like I said, it really ticks me off when people steal valor. Really not for me so much as for the people who, taking advantage of the nature, the goodwill that people like to give to veterans. So let me give you a couple tips how to spot a fake veteran. Okay, one, it doesn't come up organically in conversation. Real veterans don't just go out there and meet people randomly and say, hi, I'm a veteran. I was golfing with a Navy friend of mine. They hooked us up with two other guys. We're playing golf. A couple holes later, one of the guys, hey, how do you guys know each other? And we said, oh, we were in the Navy together. That's how it came up. That's how it's always going to come up with a real veteran. Secondly, the taller the tale, the greater the propensity that they weren't a veteran. It's no one ever steals the valor of a cook or an electrician. They just don't. It's always, Navy SEAL, Army Ranger, all this stuff. And the third thing, now what you could do if you're a little suspicious, when they're telling their tall tales or tales of woe and how they saved, the general in a double secret probation, black op thing, right? You say to them, so you're a ranger, or you're a ranger, or so, whatever. Oh, you did that. Huh. That must be on your DD-214. If the person you say that to does not immediately know what you're talking about, immediately, I'm talking right, like immediately, they're not a veteran. You can call them out. Because every veteran knows what a DD-214 is. From the moment you get in the military, it's the only thing you want. It's your discharge papers. I don't care if you spend a day in or 20 years in, you get a DD-214. You can't wait for that DD-214. You can't wait for your time to be up. Every single veteran knows what a DD-214 is. Immediately knows what a DD-214 without any hesitation or having to think about it, and then if they're like, well, DD, what? DD, what? Yeah, your DD-214, that must be reflected on your DD-214, right? And then they're like, what? Oh, your discharge papers? Look, I'm telling you, by the microsecond, they're not like DD-214. Yeah, of course it's on my DD-214. Were you in the military too? They're probably gonna, oh, you must have been in too. A real veteran's gonna know you're vetting him out. He might even think you're a veteran. That's how common this. Every single veteran out there knows what a DD-214 is. And if they don't know what it is, they hesitate. They gotta think about it because some of them do a little research. They're gonna get tripped up. If they got to think about it for a couple seconds, what they might do once you out them, they're like, oh, that's not on my discharge paper, right? Oh yeah, that DD-214. Well, when I was in Da Nang, I got PTSD. I don't remember too well. It's over. It's over. These are the telltale signs. First couple, they interject it. Nah, I mean that's not to me that's not immutable proof. I've never seen a veteran do that, but it could happen. A second one, the guy could be telling, tall tales, but there are, I have met retired SEALs. I've bumped into them here and there. If you just say, hey, I bet I bet that's on you. Wow, I bet that's documented on your DD-214, and they don't know what it is. That is like the third X. That's strike 3, and you're out. You're not a veteran. So at that point, you can call them out and say, listen, man, every veteran knows what a DD-214 is. The fact that you have to think about it, you didn't know what it is, and you denied something was on it. Once I told you what it is, no way you're a veteran. Shut up. It's not right what you're doing. That's it for today. Appreciate you watching, and I'm going to make sure I bring you some more great content soon.
We advocate for you at AttackThatTicket.com. Don't check guilty, save time, save money, and attack that ticket. We'll tell you when you need us, and more importantly, when you don't. Don't just pay that ticket. Go to AttackThatTicket.com. Call today, 877-99-NO-TICKS.